Welcome back to another episode of Streetpreneur Podcast, the podcast for entrepreneurs, small business owners, and startup companies, as well as aspiring business owners. I have a special guest today. She's a business consultant, mentor, mother. She created $1 million consulting business. She's also helps entrepreneurs secure funding, business funding, and also credit repair. I want to welcome Mrscashflows to the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is so dope. I love it.
And thank you for being here today. And we want to just, elaborate on you and what you do and how you help other entrepreneurs with their funding and their credit. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh, yes. So for me, my background is real estate. But even before that, I was a network analyst, got fired. This year will be my 10th anniversary. They literally terminated me on the street coming back from lunch. I was a network analyst on a consulting job. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I had no clue what I would do with myself. But I ended up Airbnb-ing my condo and moving into my rental building, right? And everything changed for me. I had no clue that I would be an entrepreneur. I was just like everyone else, the American dream, work, go to school, go to college, get at least $50,000 a year, right? That was the dream. Right. Got into real estate really heavy, scaled up to 18 units, lost that business because I really wasn't an entrepreneur. I literally just got into a lucky situation. So when the competition came in, it's this company called Saunders. So when I got into Airbnb in 2014, it wasn't the way we know it to be now. It was my first time hearing the word Airbnb. A woman in my building was like, "What happened, girl? Like, what's going on?" I'm like, "I got fired yesterday." Yeah. And she was like, "You ever think about renting your place out?" And I'm like, "What's Airbnb?" Right. And she showed me all those zeros. She opened up her laptop because at first I was apprehensive. I'm like, strangers in my apartment? Because if you think back, right? Yeah, right? I'm like, nah, I don't think so. And she was like, wait a minute. Reached into her bag, showed me her laptop. I was like, what, you made that last year? Okay. She's like, no, I made this last week. Right. And I was like, okay, maybe a sister can look into this, right?
You need to do this.
It was amazing. However, I made one mistake. I did everything my mentor at the time told me. I went with this guy who helped me scale my business up to 18 units in Chicago and California. Okay. First module said to get an LLC and put all these apartments into your business name. Right. I had an 815 credit score, so the luxury buildings I was going with was like, hey, we just put it in your personal name and you can, once your business is at least 2 years old, we'll then transfer it to your business name. Right. Fast forward, all these things, all these apartments were in my personal name. Saunders come in, took over the market. They did to us what Walmart did to Kmart. Okay. Walmart set up shop next door to every Walmart and undercut their prices so low that Kmart just couldn't compete. And it was the same thing that Saunders did to Professional Host. Okay. And we're offering units at $400 a night because that's the price in Chicago. They're offering it for $150. Okay. Inventory literally dried up. I found myself broken, and unable to literally living hand to mouth and bankrupt. Okay. I had to get out of Chicago, came to Atlanta. I see a guy on Instagram, just like people see me in the middle of the night thinking about my problems. Right. He's like, yo, I could help you get rid of your bankruptcy, and I could teach you a business and get you some business funding. So I'm like, yo, we get rid of this bankruptcy? Jumped into his mentorship and I went to work because I just wasn't, being broke was not a condition I was about to accept. Not at all. Right. Went to work, got rid of the bankruptcy in 5 months and funded myself $300,000 and ended up in this business because people from the mentorship started asking me to help them. And here I am today. I help entrepreneurs not only get up to $150K plus in business funding, but I'm going to get you funding ready.
Okay. And okay, for that transition from, like you said, you went from dealing with the Airbnb situation to this situation. When did you first start your company? After moving to Atlanta, did you start your own credit repair company at that particular time?
It wasn't credit repair, right? So it was crazy. This was the easiest business I've ever done in my life. Okay. Everything that I needed just flowed to me. It was as though I was meant to do it. Okay. So I'll never forget in 1 week. So, I'm happy, right? So I started this back in 2019, actually. Yeah. So, I filed bankruptcy in 2019. I got it off in 2020. Okay. So I was literally in business in 2020. Right. Okay. So people started coming to me because, you're excited. Like, oh my God, girl, I got rid of that bankruptcy and I went to this bank and I got $20K. I went to this bank, I got $40,000. They're like, can you do me? So they started coming to me. It was crazy. And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be responsible you got the same information I got, so I started referring them to another guy in our group because he was already established. I was like, I don't want to do credit. Right. I want to start a home healthcare business with this $300K. I don't want to be on Instagram, and he sat me down. He was like, Akilah, like, you need to think about this. Like, let me tell you the money that you're leaving on the table, number one. Right. And he was like, and number two, people are just gravitating to you and they thought they would be working with you. So he said, I will show you and we can chop it up 50-50 and I will help you and walk you through funding your first people so you can understand the game. Right. I was like, wow. So it was like, it wasn't even anything that I was searching for, but it was like I was meant to do it.
So with his mentorship and your determination, your hustle, and just like I said, it came together. Yeah. And after you learned everything from him with those first round of clients, then after that, they gave you the motivation, inspiration to go ahead and say, I can do this.
It just went. What ended up happening, the social media thing, I had someone, I know you probably know him, David Shands. Oh, yeah. I was part of his morning meetup group, right? Yeah. So at the time, he was like, Akilah, why you never turn your camera on? I was like, yeah, you're right. I ran into him in person, and I didn't like the answer. He's like, you should, be more present. He was like, you got a bubbly personality. So me not liking that, I said, you know what? I'm going live every day for a year because I was afraid of the camera. I was afraid of being vulnerable. I was just
used to.
Man.
Right. Confidence.
Oh my God.
I can do a whole testimony about that.
I know.
Let's get into some of the things that you're teaching that your students learn from you. As far as business, which business banks to go to for funding? Can we touch on that?
Oh, 100%.
We're just going to elaborate. We got a lot of points to elaborate on.
Yes, we do. So here's the thing. People don't understand the importance of becoming funding ready. People think like, oh, I have a 680 credit score. Let me go to the bank. That's not the complete story. Let me lay something out for someone who knows nothing about it. And if you're looking for at least $150,000 in funding, it starts with your personal credit profile, guys, because you cannot build good business credit without good personal credit first. So build your personal credit profile up to at least a 680. My opinion, get it up to 720, 740. Get it as high as you possibly can. Okay. Build history. So you can go with several banks, right? I will go with a national bank, a regional bank, and a credit union. Okay. So national bank like Bank of America, Chase, right? A regional bank like Truist or Key Bank, and then a credit union like Navy Federal. Why? Because they offer different products, okay? You want to go ahead and get 3 personal credit cards because we're stacking up the personal first. Go with Navy Federal first or a credit union of some sort if you can't get into Navy Federal, because credit unions like to give you high credit card limit approvals. So if you, for instance, on average, if you do things in the correct fashion, you can end up with a $25,000 credit card from a place or a credit union like Navy Federal.
Okay.
Then you go to Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to Truist.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they do something known as credit match. So if you have one $25,000 credit card, Bank of America match that with at least 20. Then Truist will probably match it the same way, right?
Okay.
Now you have a strong, powerful personal credit profile and build history.
Okay.
Allow it to age for about 3 years, okay?
Okay.
Then you go and you get an LLC. You can do it yourself, get a tutorial or something of some sort. Or you can go to, I remember I went to Swift Filings. It was like $750. So the choice is yours, right? Get your EIN, and then you go to the banks for business credit. All right. Okay. Again, you want to go with a national, a regional, and a credit union. All right. And you want to go with banks that's going to report to, each bank will report to a different credit profile. So you want to go with like Equifax, right? DCU, you can get a credit card from them. Mm-hmm. Navy Federal they report to TransUnion. And then maybe like, let's see, Experian, you can go with like Amex, something like that, right? Okay. Each one of those credit cards, Chase, don't forget Chase on Experian. Chase is the bomb right now, okay? Mm-hmm. So let's say you go to Chase, you go to Navy Federal, and you go to DCU. You can get at least $25,000 from each, or $50 from each one of those banks. Okay, let's say you don't get the entire 100 or 150. You can get rid of the inquiries because it's not reporting to your personal credit profile, and then go for a second round of funding. It's really that easy.
Okay. Let me see. Let me break this down. For as a person with who's had business credit before, but they've messed up. They maxed out. They got the $10,000, $20,000 or whatever, 0% interest credit card, and they messed it up. I mean, they just cashed it all out and stopped making payments. So how would a person like that, how would you help them get back in good standings again? Would they have to pay off all those delinquents that they didn't with the other creditors first before they apply for new credit? Or how would that work? If they had a bad pass.
I hate when that happens. And if
people want to hear the horror story, we know the good part. We want to hear, how do you help clean up people who've messed up?
Okay. I don't want to promote bad habits, right?
Right.
I do have.
But they have to learn from those, because this is going to help somebody else learn who's in that situation to come.
Yeah, definitely you need to get credit repair.
Okay.
You can either learn yourself if you're determined like me, but I'll tell you right now, credit repair is no punk. Okay. All right. I quit 3 times and I hit the best in the game helping me. Right. Some of the big names out there. And they was like, Akila, you can do it. This is the mental game that they play. So a lot of people don't have that sort of determination and grit. Yes. So I always, because they quit. They quit. Because if you're not part of, I was part of a financial literacy program. So I had people telling me not to quit. But if you're trying to do this on your own, mostly everyone quits. So I would say find someone that's good, get credit repair, get mentorship, guys. Do not do this by yourself. The reason most people fail and they blow through the money, number one, you've never had that much money at your disposal at one time. Number two, this is not the time to go out and play Monopoly, thinking you're going to take all this money and go do a fix and flip. You don't even know what you're doing. You get the bag and you get mentorship, and I promise you that'll be the best investment. Invest in a blueprint. I do nothing without a blueprint. Okay. Like if we go back a little bit, when I got my mentorship with the short-term rental, I didn't want to pay the guy $2,000. I opened up my boyfriend at the time swiped his credit card. It was like Akila, because he was a lifetime entrepreneur. He had never worked for anyone. I still had that mindset of, if I grew this one apartment to $84,000, which I did, I could just do the same thing. Opened up his mentorship first module. We used the script. I was offered 12 units that next day, changed me. Guys, if you take nothing, do nothing without a blueprint, an investment of $5,000 to $10,000 could scale you to $1 million. Easy.
Okay. And just kind of give them some tips, 5 steps to improve your credit score.
Well, one thing you want to do is pull the credit score. You want to get rid of the inquiries. So it's a point system, right? So it's the 5 data points you're working with. So the inquiries you can gain 50 points. All right. So let me get this out quickly. So everyone starts out with a 350 points on their report, right? Okay. You have the opportunity to gain 500 points. So your inquiries, your late payments, your charge-offs, your history, all of that stuff is divvied up into a point system. Your high credit card utilization can get you 225 points. So I want you to look at it from a points perspective. So if you have late payments, that's 175 points, guys. So that's why I'm not giving you the percentages. I want you to understand it from a points perspective. So if you have high credit card utilization and a few late payments, you're leaving 300 plus points on the table. That's how you improve your score.
Okay, that's good. Good information. Good information. Credit denials. What are some of the reasons why a bank deny a person credit?
When it comes to business credit or personal?
Both.
Well, I would say...
Well, business, it doesn't matter. Both.
Yeah, it's a little different. It's gauged a little differently. Right. But let me give you underwriting 101.
Okay.
When you start out, the reason I say there's work that needs to be done before you go to the business side, you have to clean, stage, and optimize your personal credit profile. Optimizing meaning whatever you have, like I gave you the example of getting higher credit card limits, that's a play. You better write that down, okay?
Right.
You look at it like this. Anything that you're going for, you need to show a history of having it. For instance, when you're going for a $50,000 Mercedes Benz, they're going to look to see if you had a car for at least 9 months that you owned that was worth at least $25,000. If that doesn't exist,
then they know
it's a denial.
Right.
So what is our goal here? Understand how you want to end up at the end of the day, right? I want at least $100,000 in funding. So if I want a $25,000 or $50,000 business credit card, we need to get at least to $20,000 to $25,000 personal credit cards. That's why you're denied, because you don't understand that we need to create how we're trying to end up. I hope that makes sense.
To me, it did.
It did? Okay, cool.
Yeah, to me, it did. Can you just kind of break down the different business lines of credit?
Yeah, so banks, they're your friends. That's your business partner. Okay,
Yes,
so I believe in PG funding, personal guarantee. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can go and get the net 30s. That'll boost your credibility. Yeah, I could give you 6 trade lines really quickly, but that's not going to result in real funding from a real bank, right? Real funding from a real bank starts on your personal credit profile. What type of credit cards do you have? Do you have tier 1 credit cards from tier 1 banks?
Mm-hmm.
Those banks I gave you earlier, that's what they're looking at. I literally gave you the blueprint on getting high credit card limits on the personal side, on the business side.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. We want to talk about your coaching program. Can you fill us in, tell us a little bit about that? I know you have went to your website and you have a lot of different programs that you offer.
Yeah.
Just kind of tell the general public about that.
Right now, I'm so excited. So you can definitely get like mentorship from me less than $50 a month. Okay. Yes.
You sure about that?
I'm sure about it.
$50 a month.
Yes. Is
that just a Zoom call? Or
no. So I have a community and I'm so excited about it. It's everything that I can possibly think of. I'm putting videos in there every day and it's self-guided. I have resources attached to every video. I'm making this real easy for you.
So that's like your membership community?
Yes.
Kind of like the morning meetup?
Yeah. So
$50 per month?
Yes. So you get in there.
Model. Yeah.
First things first, you're educating yourself because people miss the financial literacy piece of this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm here before you today, because I didn't just join a group and he was like, oh, just go to the bank, get a whole bunch of money. And you miss the important pieces that come in between. What do we do with the bag when we get it? How do we maximize? Because you only got one shot.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
think about it.
Right.
Even if we do credit repair, perform credit repair on a guy who screwed up with 3 major banks, that doesn't mean because it's wiped off your credit report that they're going to do business with you.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So you're pretty much blackballed at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
So what if they want one-on-one coaching with you only? How much is that going to cost?
Oh,
If
wow.
they don't want to do it themselves. They want
I know, right?
your team to do it.
We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not cheap.
Right.
But
you know,
yeah,
some people want one-on-one coaching.
100%.
I mean,
and I don't recommend that,
Okay.
actually, because
Right.
think about my situation. It took a whole village to get rid of that. I'm not kidding you. I was in tears. I was in tears.
Yeah.
The reason you don't want one-on-one coaching is because the group themselves, my mentor didn't help me get rid of the bankruptcy.
Oh, okay.
It was the other people in the group who had credit repair companies and who were encouraging me and giving me scripts and giving me resources because they're in the field. Right. The mentor is talking, right? But the people in the group is actually doing the work.
They're actually doing that.
Yeah, and that's who you want to rub. Those are some of my best friends to this day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you said, you have the Zoom calls, the monthly meetups, what are they getting for the $50?
Oh, yeah. So you're going to get training and it's going to teach you how to build a brand new LLC from scratch.
Okay.
Everything I just told you on how to build it out, you're just broken down, right?
Right.
You're brand new. You know nothing about what I'm talking about. You're educated from the beginning.
Right.
You should end up in a very good position.
Right.
Just apply it. I don't have long, drawn out videos in there. It's very short, concise, to the point, and it's actionable.
So it take you from A to Z.
100%.
Okay, I got you.
And I do have a group mentorship, right?
Okay.
So if you're interested in that as well, something I do very differently, I meet with each mentee one-on-one before they even join the group, so I can give them their own personal funding blueprint.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm sure a lot of
100%.
people definitely need that. I want to thank you for coming on the show. Is there anything else, any new development for 2025? Any new business development, new concepts? What are you working on for the future?
Yeah, so right now I'm just working on building my community to its capacity, and I want to help 1,000 families get at least $250,000. That's a dream, okay? And because I know if your financial situation changes and you get into an environment where people are hungry, you will change, all right? Anything is possible for you. Anything possible for anyone else is possible for you. So definitely tap in Mrs. Cashflows on all platforms.
Yeah, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here today. I want my listeners out there to definitely tap in with Miss Cash. I don't know why I like to say Miss Cash.
I like that too.
Tap in definitely with Miss Cashflow. She's definitely going to help you improve your situation and get your credit together, personal and business. And tell them your contact information one more time, your Instagram.
Mrs. Cashflows, Mrscashflows on all platforms.
Okay, and there you guys have it. Tune in next week for another episode of Streetpreneur. Subscribe to the channel, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you.